connecting the Jamaican diaspora abroad and at home. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for Both Sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and Jamaicans abroad on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Stay with us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on Both Sides of the Story by calling our local numbers 876-922-4112-5. You can listen to Both Sides of the Story on the Power 106 FM app via the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, as well as on rockspotmedia.com. Plus, listeners in the USA can dial 631-359-8281 to listen. And if you're in the UK and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, you can call 0330-606-0953. You can watch Both Sides of the Story live on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Both Sides 106. Email bothsides106@live.com. Send your WhatsApp voice notes, audio messages, and text messages to 876-365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to Both Sides of the Story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yes, both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
If old truths are to retain their hold on men's minds, they must be restated in the language and concepts of successive generations. What at one time are their most effective expressions gradually become so worn with use that they cease to carry a definite meaning. The underlying ideas may be as valid as ever, but the words, even when they refer to problems that are still with us, no longer convey the same conviction. The arguments do not move in a context familiar to us, and they rarely give us direct answers to the questions we're asking. This may be inevitable because no statement of an ideal that is likely to sway men's minds can be complete. It must be adapted to a given climate of opinion, presuppose much that is accepted by all men of the time, and illustrate general principles in terms of issues with which they are concerned.
Sides of a story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Okay.
Both sides of a story. Both sides of a story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides.
Do they have lessons in my life?
Both sides of a story.
Both sides of the story.
It's there? Okay. Go ahead. Just go ahead with it. Knowledge is power and go to it. Mm.
Both sides of a story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
Thank you.
Some lessons in my life. Lessons in my life. Always be careful of mankind. Be careful of mankind. They make you promises today, but tomorrow they change their mind. Make you make promises today, but tomorrow they change their mind. But I'm an humble man. I love humble people. I'm a progressive man and I love progressive people. I'm a truthful man. I'm an honest guy. Honest people. I've learned some lessons in my life. Lessons in my life. Always be careful of my friends. Be careful of my friends. Money can make friendship end. It makes friendship end. Money can make friendship end. It makes friendship end. I'm an awful man and I love awful people. I'm a progressive man and I love progressive I'm an intelligent man and God love intelligent people. I'm an aggressive man and God love aggressive people. I'm a fire man and I love fire people. I'm a love man and I love people. I'm an intelligent man and I love intelligent people.
It's still the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 29th day of the fourth month of 2024. The month of April is still being observed as World Autism Awareness Month. It's Arab American Heritage Month and National Child Abuse Prevention Month in America. Meanwhile, here in Jamaica, April is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, Farmers Month, Manufacturers Month, and Financial Literacy Month. In fact, over the years, the Jamaica Literary Association has been leading the celebration of is observing Immunization Week, and Jamaica marking Intellectual Property Week. The birthday of the Sultan of Terengganu is being celebrated in Malaysia. Baha'is are observing the 9th day of Ridvan. It's Kase Kanari Owet Mo Nandlo Anaiti, Ming Loyalist Kosinga's landing in Taiwan, and Showa Day in Japan. Hoy es lunes, el 29 de abril 2024, y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones, y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
Intelligent man and God love intelligent people. I'm an aggressive man and God love aggressive people. I'm a fire man and I love fire people. I'm a love man and I love all people. I'm an intelligent man and I love intelligent people. Follow the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development on Instagram and X at LocalGovJA. The time by the ministry is 2:15. I've learned some lessons in my life. Jesus in my life. Always be careful of mankind. Be careful of mankind. They make you promises today, but tomorrow they change their mind.
C'est lundi le 29 avril 2024 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme allant de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission, éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Monday, the 29th of April, 2024, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you've downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We acknowledge those who are still tuned in. Cherry Henry says, keep up the good work. Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Good afternoon, Cherry Henry. Valerie Wellapeck says, good afternoon to everyone. And Mike Montgomery says, good afternoon, teacher, to you and Power 106 family. I'm here alone, home, watching you live on Facebook with my wife's brother and his daughter. Left this morning to go back to Canada. Keep safe, teacher, says Mike. Thank you very much, Mike, for your message. And good afternoon to Ricardo in Glengough, St. Catherine. Thank you very much for tuning in. What's on your mind this afternoon? We're taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. 3346. And let's take a look at some of the other messages on the text line and the WhatsApp line, which are one and the same. 876 365 3346. And let's see. Franklin McDonald has sent us a couple of links as usual. And looking at the World Bank returns to the cat bond market, and Jamaica securing $150 million as hurricane cushion. Also, Jamaica targets 4 hurricane season catastrophe bonds, and those are other messages. Good afternoon, Sharon Smith. Thank you very much for keeping in touch. And we take note of your event organized by the class of 1984, the anniversary musical instruments presentation ceremony, which took place this afternoon at 1 o'clock, and no doubt still happening right now. And it's also streaming on Zoom. Hello to Paul Miles of the eponymous Paul Miles Foundation. He is still in Philadelphia, where he was for the Penn Relays. All the best to you, and especially those teams going to the Penn Relays for the first time. And that kind of energy must be encouraged based on the implications and the impact of that kind of exposure to not just the diaspora, but exposure to so many opportunities across the diaspora. And who is this now? Let's see. There's a link here coming from Barry, and we see Fayweller is just checking in. Good afternoon, she says. Good afternoon, Fayweller. Thank you very much for joining us here on both sides of the story, Paro 106 FM. Andrea Reese, good afternoon to you. She says, hi, Dervan, how are you doing? I'm fine, thanks, and hope the same for you. And Dr. Rosemary Adamson Lewis is also online. She says, good afternoon, Sir D. Okay, good afternoon, Rosemary Adamson Lewis. And someone has sent us a voice note, but obviously we'll have to audition the voice note to make a determination with respect to playing the voice note. And this one says, this one, 876-922-4112-5 are the numbers to call. The text line, as we have outlined, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Michael Bryan, good afternoon to you. He says, good day, she says, good day, Dervan. Lady Dorel Wigan saying hello to you and the listeners, wishing you a blessed day. And many happy returns. Thank you very much. And let's see who else is messaging us on the WhatsApp line, same as the text line, 876 922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And exploring a couple of messages with the information online. On this Monday afternoon, it's a balmy afternoon, and it creates a level, it doesn't help the situation in terms of the levels of animosity when the heat is as it is now. So we hope that we will keep it calm and keep it cool. Speaking of keeping it calm and keeping it cool, motorist injured in a fiery protest over water in Retreat, Westmoreland. Same thing we were alluding to a while ago. You're in a situation of the heat and the anxiety in a space where people are protesting, and then something happens, like that of the motorist sustaining injuries and his car being damaged after crashing into a tree downed by upset residents in Retreat, Westmoreland early this morning to protest over a lack of water in the area. The acting commander for Zone 4 for the Westmoreland Police, Inspector Coyer Williams, says sometime after 3 this morning, the residents used downed trees, tires that were set on fire, and other debris to block the main road between New Hope and Negril to press their demands for water. Westmoreland is among parishes hit hard in an ongoing drought. Williams says an unsuspecting driver was injured when he crashed into a tree that was cut down by the protesters. The motorist was taken to the Savannah Lamar Public General Hospital for treatment. Information is that residents are using this means to demonstrate that there is a need for water in the area, Williams said. We have managed to clear the roadway to single lane. We have spoken to the residents, and they were reassured that they would be getting water later today. Williams said he contacted the National Water Commission, and the agency promised to deliver water to the community during the course of the day. So once again, we continue to take your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Paul Miles of the eponymous Paul Miles Foundation says, very impressive, Dervan. One of my sponsored schools, Port Antonio High, ranked 32 out of 561 high schools in the girls' high schools 4x4 relays. Very encouraging for the first time. Penn will be seeing them in 2025 and years to come. Thank you very much for sharing that bit of information with us, Paul Miles of the eponymous Paul Miles Foundation. And we're still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Oh, let's go to the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 2:30.
Make sure you get the letter. The recipe for happiness. Don't forget the letter. Yes, and value the best. Everything where you want, the price you really need. Satisfaction always guaranteed. Make sure you get the letter. The recipe for happiness.
We all love good food. Food made with better quality ingredients to keep our family healthy and happy. Ask for Delect at your supermarket or wholesale.
The recipe for happiness.
Distributed by Dervan Trading Limited.
It's a Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and that means time for Land Solutions. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything to do with a sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5, 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but also your WhatsApp messages. The law firm is Brown, Findley and Company, headquartered at 39, Suite 39 in the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. If you wish to contact the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, you can call 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. If you wish to contact them directly at the Ocho Rios office of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, that number is 876-974-6083, 876-974-6083. The text line and the WhatsApp number are one and the same for Land Solutions. Today it's 876-387-3183, 876-387-3183. Those are the contact details. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. And so you have the coordinates now. We look forward to receiving your calls here on Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. So go ahead and make those calls for land-related issues, 876-922-4113-5, 876-922-4113-5. In a moment, let's say good afternoon and welcome to this week's host on board for Land Solutions, attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you so much, Dervan. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again to Land Solutions. As Dervan just told you, I am Gloria Brown, and the numbers to call 922-411-325, anything land related. Or you can send me a WhatsApp or a text message to 387-3183, 387-3183. And remember, we're an office in Ocho Rios and in Kingston. So anything land related, buying land, selling land, getting a title for your land, probating your will, or anything of that in relation to those things, anything about land. Give me a call or send me a text message or WhatsApp message, 876-387-3183. And I have a text message from someone who's asking if a beneficiary could apply for probate if the executor is unwilling to act. And I'm saying to persons, if you have taken up the responsibility of being an executor and you no longer want to be the executor, and sometimes we know how it is. It's not as if we have taken up the responsibility. Sometimes it's after the person has died that we realize that we have been made the executor. Because Jamaicans a lot of times don't want persons to know that they have a will or they have made a will. I don't know the secrecy. So you come to me and I make the will and you appoint the children executor, you appoint somebody else as executor or the spouse as executor, and you don't tell them, they only discover after you have died. But if you have been appointed executor and you don't want the position, you don't want the responsibility, and sometimes because the relatives are so troublesome, you don't want to get involved, a lawyer can prepare a renunciation of executorship that you just sign to say you are renouncing, you are giving up the position. And then one of the beneficiaries can apply. I would say one of the beneficiaries can apply to probate the will, but it's not really probate because only the executors named in the will can get probate. Only the executors named in the will can get probate. So if the executors have died or the executors are unwilling to act, what you're going to apply for something called letters of administration with the will annexed. Letters of administration with the will annexed, because as long as it's not the executor named in the will is applying, it's not going to be probate. But I don't want to complicate your mind, so let's just say probate. So one of the beneficiaries in the will can apply, and then that person will be in charge. So you need to know that. But executors don't sit down 10, 20, 30 years, which is why I like to make multiple copies of the will, so at least beneficiaries would be able to have one in case executor goes away with the one that they got. Because a lot of times executors are abroad with the will. Sometimes you have to use a copy because we can also use a photocopy, But you have to apply to the court. You have to get an order from the court, permission from the court to use the copy. So we make an application to prove copy will. And it's not as easy as it sounds because you have to convince the judge that the person who made the will did not destroy the will before. So you have to explain that I know it was not destroyed because mother spoke to me about it a few days before she died. Things like those you have to put in there. And of course that's extra money because you have to pay the lawyer to go to court for the court to give an order to prove that the copy is a will. And the copy is a copy of the true will. And after you have got that order, then you have to apply to probate it. So you see the complications and you see how much money you're going to have to give to the lawyers. So all of those things are things that we want to tell persons that you need to put the will in a place as well where persons know. As I always say to my clients, you might not want the beneficiaries to know, but at least say to them, if anything should happen to me, go to my lawyer, Ms. Brown. Go to my lawyer, Gloria Brown, and she will know what to do because then I will know that I have a will for that person. So I'm encouraging my listeners, having made the will, let somebody know there is one and protect it. But yes, the listener who sent me the text message, yes, if the executor is unwilling to act or unable to act or has died, because a lot of times the executor has died, which is why you don't have anybody. Is there a call, Dervan?
Yes, Ms. Brown.
All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon.
It's a message. It says on WhatsApp, my grandmother passed away 11 months ago. My mother was told by the caretaker that there is a little thing in the will for her. Supposedly, my grandmother changed her will shortly after she passed and included my mother. The caretaker, who is currently living at my grandmother's house, is in contact with a lawyer who is doing the probate. I asked the caretaker for the lawyer's number several months ago and was told the lawyer will call my mother. She has still not received a phone call from the lawyer. She got no confirmation as to what was really left for her. Is that proper procedure? Should she just patiently wait to be contacted by the lawyer? Questions?
Yes, thanks, Dervan.
Sure.
Yes, listener. So you could patiently wait because they really don't have any obligation to really tell you what is there. But what you could also do is get an attorney to get a copy of the will out of the Supreme Court. Because more than likely it is there being probated. And your attorney could get a copy. Or get your attorney to write the caretaker to ask her for the name of the attorney who is dealing with the probate. Because if something is in the will for you, it should not be a secret. So two things. You could ask someone to check out the Supreme Court for you so you could get a copy of the will there, or you could get your lawyer to write to the caretaker. And I'm a little bit concerned. I wonder what is best there for you, for the caretaker, etc. So there are some things that should cause you concern, and I understand why you are concerned. So get an attorney to assist you in the entire process, because the attorney could get some investigation done at the Supreme Court to look at the file if the will has been lodged there and what is happening. Thanks, Dervan. So
you're welcome.
Also to say to persons who have relatives and have persons taking care of them, keep a keen eye, please. I'm not saying anything in relation to this particular caretaker, but I've heard of situations that in situations where caretakers have unduly influenced the person they are taking care of. Which is why I encourage my clients and say a warm gift is better than a cold one. Let your relatives transfer the properties to you, especially those living abroad. Let the relatives transfer to you, add your name to the title, etc. So there is no need for a will, if that is possible, if you can afford to. When I say the warm gift is better than the cold one, I'm saying give the relatives the properties, give them the assets while your hands are warm and not when your hands are cold. Because when the hands are cold, people will write things for you with a very cold hand. So I think you understand what I'm saying. But get your attorney to help you with that. The number to call 922-411-325, and the text line is, or the WhatsApp line is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. And remember, you can also send an email, gloria@landsolution.ga.com.
We have another call for you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, how can I help?
Yeah, I'm calling on the behalf of a relative in St. Thomas concerning a piece of land in East Prospect. The person that, I don't know if it's a government land or whatever, but the person that, like, is over some hundreds of people living on that piece of land. They didn't buy it from anybody.
Yes.
They just go in and they start build houses.
Yes, I know the St. Thomas situation. Where the
Pardon?
house not Medgar?
Can you?
Not Medgar Garden. What's it?
I'm not hearing you, Miss Gloria.
No, I was asking if it's not Medgar Garden. What's the name of the property? Do you want to say?
It's East Prospect.
East Prospect, okay. All right, so you have
Oh
to
my,
government land because,
I'm not hearing.
okay, you have to, can you hear me any better?
All right, just hang up and listen to the radio. Hang up and listen to the radio.
Thank you, Dervan.
Okay.
So I need to know if it's government land, because you know if you are living on government land, you have to occupy it for 60 years. And you don't have to be there for the 60 years yourself, because your father could have been there for 40, your mother for 10, and you for 10. You can add on, you can tag on. But I need to know that if it's private land, then the persons who are there for 12 years can claim the little pieces they are on. The challenge now, though, that we're having is that when it comes to places like St. Thomas, because of the highway, everybody is looking for land out there. Everybody is looking for land, so you might have somebody just come and say they have bought it. So the persons who are on it, you have been there for a long time, you need to go and get a lawyer. First of all, you need to go and find out who is the owner. You can find that out easily. Just go and look at it, just get the tax information, go to the tax office and see whose name is on it. If it's private land, you all need to come together and get something done. If it's government land and you are there for 60 years, you also need to come together. So I'm going to ask this listener to give me a call after the program, 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. Give me a call after the program so I can get a little bit more information. And I'm saying to persons, protect your property. So I'm saying to other persons as well, even the owners of properties, protect your property. Because I've been saying it on the program for the last year going on too, that there's a serious land grab. Persons are just looking at properties, claiming them, claiming squatters' rights, even though they don't live there, and then selling the properties. We're up on a break, so now this is Land Solution.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're taking your calls on 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. And the regular numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. You can send your email messages to Gloria at landsolutionsja.com. Gloria at landsolutionsja.com. And the lines once again, 876-387-3183. That's the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. And the regular call-in lines, 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. Once again, here's Attorney at Law Gloria Brown.
A text message. My grandmother passed away. Oh, I think it's the same one that Dervan just said. Oh, this piece of land. Oh, I bought this piece of land, got it surveyed, got the diagram and all the documents such as sale agreement receipt. I went to the tax office in order to get on the tax roll. Tax office sent me to title's office. I've been going back and forth at one point. Tax office told me that they could not locate the land. Another time they told me that they identify the land, but they cannot see the number. I need to know where do I go from here. What you need to do is get a title. Okay, anybody can pay tax. I told a lady just today that if a frog walks into the tax office with the money, they'll take it from them. What you need is a title. When you get a title, you will automatically get to pay your own taxes. So that's what I want you to move towards, getting a title for your land. Okay, so when that is done, you'll get to pay your taxes and then you will be fine. So send me a text message though, please, and just say title and I will send you the documentation. My phone, I've lost all my WhatsApp messages, listeners, so everybody who sent me a message before, I'm going to beg you to please send me back. Anybody who sent me a message for title before, and I sent you the documents that you need, you probably could send back one of them for me, please, because I lost all my WhatsApp messages. So the person who is there, just send me a message for title, and I will assist you as best I can. Remember the number to call 922-411-325. Yes, Dervan?
Yes, another message. This is another WhatsApp message, Ms. Brown. Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Could you ask Ms. Brown? I understand that a developer in Jamaica will request that funds be deposited to their bank account. However, the developer deducted bank fees from the amount deposited. I suspect that their response will be that the bank charged them. Should these costs not be at least shared by the parties?
Well, I don't think they're going to share them because if you read the fine print in the agreement, it's going to say those are your charges. The developer not going to want to take those charges.
Okay.
So read the agreement. It's going to be your obligation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, too.
Mm-hmm.
The number to call 922-411-325. And the text line is 876-387-3183. You can send me a text message on 387-3183 or WhatsApp message. Okay, so in relation to what I was saying to the listener earlier about squatters' rights and the land grab, we're having a serious problem. I see where persons are even looking at community spaces. Persons have communities and persons are looking at the common areas and doing adverse possession claims. Even though the common areas are utilized by the entire development. Because land has become so valuable, there is really a lot of greed, a lot of illegality going on. So I'm saying to everybody, even those, especially those outside of Jamaica who can't oversee your land, get somebody to oversee it for you. Put up your no trespassing sign. Get the relatives to look at it. Get it bushed. The houses you have locked up and say you're not going to do anything about it. A lot of them are concrete and steel, so tenants might not destroy them. Sometimes it's best if you get somebody to even rent a room in one of them and lock up the rest. But get some oversight over your property, because persons are losing their properties. And when persons capture your property, they have done the adverse possession or the squatters' right type, immediately they sell it. Immediately it is sold to an unsuspecting person. And that's going to tie you up in court for a long time. So I'm begging my listeners, exercise some kind of control over what you have. Okay, this person just wants to speak. But I remember I said that there is no size limit in terms of what you can get, there's no size limit in terms of what you can register. As long as the surveyor will survey the land, we'll assist you in getting a title for it. Get your title and protect your land. Okay, and also remember that if there's a mortgage on your property, persons can't do the adverse claim. So maybe that's something that we're going to have to start looking at. You're abroad and you have your property, maybe you might need to look at putting a mortgage on it. And when you don't have to get a mortgage from a bank, you can get it from your son or your daughter or your mother, or a little money from them, put a mortgage. If a mortgage is on it, persons can't do the adverse possession application against it. So a lot of things we have to consider. And remember, if you want to get a title for your property, just send me a message, title. And those who have sent that message to before, who have asked, can you just send back one of those? What I've sent to you, can one of you just send it back to me, please, because I've lost everything in terms. And those who I promised to contact and you haven't heard from me, please just send me a contact staff information, because I'm trying to rebuild some of the messages I've lost. Also, if you need, when I send you the message in relation to getting the title, please remember you have to get two persons who have known the land for 30 years. Don't send and tell me, Miss Brown, I can't get them. And you have to do something. If you can't get two persons who have known the land for 30 years for you, you're not going to be able to succeed with the adverse possession application. You're not going to get the title. That has to be there. So you have to make that extra effort. If you're buying land from somebody, let them give you all that information, so that when you are ready to get the title, maybe you are new to the area, the first you are going to that area, you heard that land was being sold, you bought a piece, you bought it without title, you have your receipt. Now you want a title, and Miss Brown is saying to you, you need to get two persons who have known the land, but you don't know anybody. So when you're buying land from somebody, let them at least give you that information. Let them start the process, which is why I'm saying to persons, don't buy land without lawyer. Because somebody, even when my clients are selling unregistered land, I let them start a title application. So the person who is buying it has something to go by, something to support themselves with. Because it is just so troublesome. This whole land titling process is really, really, really troublesome. And I do everything I can as best as I can to assist my clients. Because too many persons are in a predicament. And title is so important. And remember, we can't achieve our 2030 goal, which I know is just 5 years, 6 years away, which I know we're not going to achieve, but we can't even go near it when we have so many pieces of land, so many parcels of land outside of the formal system. We have to get our land title situation on the wraps. We have to tidy up the titling situation before we can really, really make any advancement. Because as I said earlier on, some time ago on this program, it is said that most persons who start a small business in America, they have started it using the title that they have for their property. They use that as collateral. How can we start businesses when you come to Miss Brown to get a title and all you have is an exercise, a piece of receipt on an exercise book, or a little receipt book to say you bought the land? How can you start a business with that? You can't. You have to wait on me to get the title. And the process is a little slower these days. It's much slower these days than it was before COVID. And so when you have prepared your application, when I have prepared the papers for you and you have got the two neighbors to sign it up, and after it is signed up and you have signed up your documents and you give me all the things and you pay up the taxes, you don't have to pay up the taxes to do the application, because how it is these days is that under the amendment to the Registration of Titles Act, you just have to show a tax paper. Even if the taxes are outstanding, we can still make the application for you. It is at the stage when you are ready to get the title, when we have advertised and paid the final fees, at that stage that the taxes must be paid up. And I like that because a lot of times there's a lot of taxes to be paid, and persons can't do a thing about the taxes because they can't afford it, and you can't pay up. You don't want to pay all that money, and then the application doesn't succeed. So when we have advertised, we know you're about to get the title, so I can say to you, go and pay up the taxes. And a lot of times, persons trying to get a little piece of land out of a big piece, and when you look and see the amount of taxes to be paid up, millions sometimes, so that again prohibits the persons from getting, because I've had like applications that have been approved, we have advertised and so on, but the taxes to be paid, the amount of tax we paid is so much that the persons can't even go any further. Because when you look, you are just a big piece of land is 100 acres, but you're just trying to get a half acre out of it, but you have to pay out the taxes for the 100 acres, and that becomes a prohibition. That inhibits the clients, that prohibits the clients from getting the title because they can't afford the taxes. The taxes valued more than the little piece of land that they are trying to get. So that's another part of the challenge when you're clearing adverse out of a big piece. And what happens is that people won't come together. You see, if we unite, like the person who called earlier to see a lot of them out on that piece of land in St. Thomas, if persons would unite and come together, then they would succeed. And I know sometimes persons are a little upset to say, hey, Miss Brown, entertaining squatters' rights and so on. But as I said before, a lot of times squatters' rights is not just as what we think, Persons see a piece of land and jump on it. I have to do squatters' rights from most of the persons who I'm doing squatters' rights for. They have bought the piece of land, or the parents died and left it for them, but they don't have any documentation, or they never got a title. So I have to go the adverse possession claim for them. So 90% of the things that I'm doing for persons in terms of adverse possession or squatters' rights is persons who have bought the properties or the relatives have died and left it for them, family land and so on. So don't see that a lot of time persons say that law must be disbanded, but sometimes it's much larger than we think. My father died and left a piece of land in Manchester, and my brother, who lives on the land, has died. No, my sister has surveyed it and give most of it to her son behind my back. How can I get it? You might have to take the matter to court. But the first thing you're going to have to do is to administer your father's estate. Because you said it's your father died, and this person you said your sister is not your father's child. So you need to administer your father's estate, because there's something we call standing, local standing. Okay, you don't have any standing, you can't go before the court unless you have administered your father's estate. That is what's going to give you the right. So deal with it, get an attorney to administer your father's estate, and then do something about it. So what you also need to do as well is to, if there's a title for the property, you need to lodge a caveat. A caveat is a block that you put against the title so that nobody can do anything about it. And if you see where they are building on it and so on, you can go to the parish council for a stop order. My grand aunt died in 2004 and left me her home in Kingston. She was the only owner. The property was left to me only. I'm yet to probate. I'm also the executor. Is it cheaper to probate? Well, than to do the adverse possession. I suspect that's what you're asking me. I think you should do the probate. If you have a clear will and you are the executor, it's tidier to do the probate. Easier, it's 100% surety. So I think you really should probate the will and get the matter sorted out. And And you didn't say what parish the property owes the kids in Kingston, so you won't get any of the rebates that are applicable. And remember, I've always been talking about a special law. The law is now applying to Portmore. And I'm still making up a lot of noise and explain how this front that I am, that it's applying to Portmore and it's not applying to a lot of areas in rural St. Andrew, Burnside Valley, Bull Bay. Those are the areas that would need that law more than Portmore because Portmore is 100% titled. This is Land Solutions. We're up on a break.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high-quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Learn to budget. Once you've read a few personal finance books, you will understand 2 rules. Never let your expenses exceed your income and watch where your money goes. The best way to do this is by budgeting and creating a personal spending plan to track the money coming in and going out. Tracking expenses can provide a valuable wake-up call. Small changes in your everyday expenses are under your control and can impact your financial situation. Keeping monthly expenses like rent as low as possible can save you money over time and put you in a position to invest in your own home sooner than later.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line and the WhatsApp number are one and the same: 876-387-3813. That's 876-387-3813. And once again, let's hand you over to attorney at law of the law firm Brown, the law firm Brown and Company.
Thank you, Dervan.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
Yes, Dervan, Brown, Finley and Company.
Brown, Finley and Company.
Thank you, Dervan.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon. I'm inquiring about a lot of land in St. Thomas. My father occupied a piece of land from 86. How can I own it? I'm living on it now. Yes, please survey it. I know exactly. I don't want to mention the name of the place, but please survey it. And then you could talk back to us. The person who sent me the message earlier about the tax office and trying to get, if I cannot get from the titles of it the number for the land, can I still get a title? And how do I go about this? Yes, I want you to survey the piece of land. As the person who bought this piece of land, you have the sale agreement, the receipt, but you can't get the tax number. I would, yes, survey it, because sometimes when we have the survey diagram, it's easier to use that to find the tax number. So speak to your surveyor, and the surveyor will survey the piece for you, and then we can move from there. Also, it's very helpful if you could ask one of your neighbors for their tax number. So if you get the tax number for one of the neighbors, you have the survey diagram, it's very easier to identify. Also, if when the surveyor has surveyed the property, there's anybody around you with a registered title, that also makes it very easy to identify the number. But I would ask you to just do a survey now and then talk back to me, and we'll help you as best as possible. Sometimes you have to go to the land valuation department at 8 Arden Road with your survey diagram, and they have the expertise and the skills to assist you in identifying the number. But there are few parcels that don't have that type of tax number, but I doubt if yours is one. Yes, everyone.
Yes, another message for you, Ms. Brown. Good day, Ms. Brown. Have you heard of the pending land grab on sugarcane lands island-wide? Patrick?
No, Patrick, I've not heard of that one, but I wouldn't be surprised, because those are large acreages of land, acres of land. A lot of it sitting idle by. So I suspect it's going to affect that. Any piece of land that we see these days, I'm surprised they haven't taken up the Hero Circle yet. As persons are so brazen that they are taking up anything. I have an echo, Dervan. Maybe the line is open.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but go ahead.
Yes, Dervan, thanks. Yes, it is still there. So, thank you. It's off now. Thanks. Yes, so Patrick, I have not heard, but I'm not surprised. So I'm saying to everybody with a piece of land, protect it. And one way we protect it, I find that person a little reluctant to cut down fruit trees. So I'm saying I've said to some of my clients, especially those abroad, you have an empty piece of land, go and plant it out. The thing with Jamaica is that, especially when it's in the rainy season, if you look under any apple tree, any mango tree, you see a lot of young suckers. Plant out the place with it. Plant out the place with it, the piece of land you own. And when you're ready, then you might have to cut down some of them and some when you're ready to build. But at least exercise some kind of control and get somebody to look over the land for you. If every now and then you get it pushed. Because you're surprised you leave your piece of land and go away, and next week you come back and there's a 2-story house on it. That's Jamaica land we love. And please protect your properties. The person who's saying if the tax office can't find the number for you, move and get it surveyed. Move towards a survey now. And then we will take it from there. Do you know if there's a problem in paying land tax online? I've been trying all day and it can't pay online. It doesn't go to payment. I'm not sure because I did up to last week, but I have not seen anything to say there is a problem. And you go to Tax Administration Jamaica, I've not seen anything or heard of anywhere where there's a problem. And I'm not sure if you have ever paid it before using the portal you're using now. But I don't see a problem, and I've not heard on the news that there is one. I know in the government, so because it's the end of the month now, I doubt if there is a problem. So you might have to revisit what you are doing. You might have to just revisit and see again, go back to Tax Administration Jamaica, or just put in pay property taxes and try again. The number is to call 922-411-325. And the text line, send me a WhatsApp or a text message to 876-387-3183. 387-3183. That's the text line or the WhatsApp line. And remember, you can also send me an email, gloria@landssolutionsja.com, gloria@landssolutionsja.com. And remember, we have an office in Ucheria. There's an attorney there every day. Okay, Mrs. Lisa Bennett, an excellent attorney. You don't have to even see me now. She's there and she could help you with all your matters related to land. Remember, if you're buying land, selling land, getting a title for your land, probating your will, administering an estate, dealing with recovery of possession, anything land related, we're happy to help you with. Because we really need to sort out the entire land stock in Jamaica. I know that Land Solutions has really contributed significantly to the public education in relation to land. I see persons who come to see me in terms of the questions persons ask to show that persons are appreciating land matters, appreciating and getting educated. I see the many village lawyers that I have around the place, and I applaud you because that's the aim of the program. To create persons with knowledge, to create persons who understand, and there's nothing wrong in being a village lawyer when it comes to land matters. I need us to have that kind of knowledge. When you go to some countries, even like Barbados and so on, I've said it before, persons are so knowledgeable when it comes to the basic things. In Jamaica, ignorance rules the world. And you tell persons things, and even as a professional, they will tell you that nothing don't go so. Okay? Because we don't have the knowledge, and which is why the aim of the program, which is why we started this program, to educate persons on something as important as land ownership. Because when the reality is that when you look at an investment in land, it's going to be the biggest investment that most of us will ever make in our lifetime. A piece of land we are bought to build a house, to do, etc., etc. So it's important that we have this knowledge out there, and that our people are very aware and make the right decisions. Because you cannot afford to make a mistake when it comes to land. And remember, when you are buying land, especially unregistered land, be careful. When you are buying land with a title, and that's what we call registered land, it has a registered title. It's easier for you to protect your interest because there should only be one title for the land. When you are buying a piece of land that doesn't have a title, the person who owns that land could sell it to 10 people at the same time and give everybody a common law title, because the common law title is just a piece of paper, a document that you buy at the bookstore. I could buy 10 of it and sell to the one person. So be very careful when you're buying land from persons that they say they don't have any title. Be very careful when you're buying land from a man who tells you that his father died and left it and he's the only one, or he's the one paying the taxes. Remember, paying taxes cannot make you own land. I've seen persons come into my office to say that they want me to look about a title for them because they have been paying the taxes all the years. And when I start questioning them, I realize that they are not the only person living on the land. A lot of different families living on the one piece of land. But they feel that because they are paying the taxes, they have more say than others. No. It's not taxes that count, it's occupation. So you occupy the land and I pay the taxes, you are the one who has the right to get a title, not me. So when you're paying your taxes, and when somebody comes to me and says 10 families on the land, but I'm the one paying the taxes, all I ask them to do is just survey the little piece that they are on, if that's possible. And I would help them get a title for the little piece so they can get to pay taxes for that little piece for themselves and stop paying for everybody. But paying the taxes cannot make you own land. And I've always used the example. If you decide you are going to pay tax for my house that I live in and you're going to pay it every year because I'm not paying it, if you pay it for 100 years, you can't get my land. I would glad you're paying it, but we should pay it for me. That cannot give you land. It's possession that counts. Possession is 100% of the law when it comes to land titling. I will ask you for the tax papers because a lot of persons don't have any evidence. It's not like the gentleman who sent the text earlier to say, yes, it's agreement for sale and it's receipt and so on. Most of the people come into my office to get a title, they have no documentation. So they can give me old tax papers that will help me when I send in the application to the title's office. That will help me in terms of what I'm going to be doing. If they can show me the old will, the old receipts, the old tax papers, the birth certificate for the children to show that that's where they were born, all of those things will help me. But a lot of persons have nothing at all. All they can say, they don't even have a house on it where I could even say, yes, you have electricity. Most persons have nothing at all to support their claim. And that's the challenge. Good afternoon, Ms. Brown. I hope you can lend your expertise to a troubling matter. Back in August of 2009, I began purchasing a lot within a development in Manchester. I diligently made payments as agreed with the final installment scheduled for December 2011 upon receipt of the title. Despite fulfilling my obligations, I have yet to receive the title. In 2021, I conducted an appraisal of the property and discovered a caveat placed by the JPS, as well as a mortgage from a banking institution dated back to 2014. Wow. Could these encumbrances be the reason for the delay in obtaining my title? Well, the JPS caveat is not going to affect you because those are usually on properties and they will not stop you getting your title. So we don't want the JPS caveats or take them off. We just let you sell because JPS would have an easement over a lot of these properties. So you just buy with it. So that's not the problem. My problem now is the mortgage. That would not be the reason why, because the developer should pay off the mortgage. But that's going to be the reason why I can't help you much because of the mortgage. That's where I'm going to have a problem. Because the mortgage is going to prevent me from assisting you. Because even though you have not paid in full, I would be able to assist you because I could pay your balance into a government agency that is tasked with receiving the balance. But the mortgage is going to give me a bit of a challenge. So I'm going to ask you to give me a little bit more information, to give me a call maybe after the program on the number 876-387-3183. And let me see how I can assist you. Good afternoon, Mr. Toya, who is listening. Okay, pray your day is going well. Okay, the person who is following up will send me the third text message. Says, thanks for the information, but we have been to Arden Road, and they are the ones telling me the person that do the search isn't available and I'm present in possession of a valid survey diagram. No, if you have a survey diagram, a valid one, no, you don't need to resurvey at all. Maybe you might have to reach out to me so I can see how best I can assist you. Reach out to me maybe tomorrow when I'm in office. If you don't have any land, should you make a will? Yes. As soon as you reach 18, make a will. I leave everything I have to my mother and father, even though you have nothing. Make a will. We need to get into the culture of making wills. I had a situation some years ago where a young man died on the job. And when we investigated, he never made a will, and he was told by the government, when he was in a government job and he died on the job, as I said earlier. Okay, I think we're up on a break. They're going to give me that hint. I'll look at this afterwards. I'm Gloria Brown. This is Land Solution.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Do you have diabetes? Two names you need to know: CareSense and Sure Comfort. The CareSense blood sugar meter provides the latest technology and the lowest priced strips on the market, accurate and easy to use. Sure Comfort insulin syringes, pen needles, and lancets offer the latest in needle technology, making it almost painless. One more name: Jamaica Hospital Supplies, 66 and a half Halfway Tree Road. Call 929-2850. Visit our website.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land. You've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. That's 876-922-4113-5. The text line and the WhatsApp number are one and the same: 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. Those who wish to get in touch with the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company can call 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. And so we hand you back to Attorney at Law, Gloria Brown, once again.
Thank you, Dervan. Yes, I was looking at if you don't have any land, should you make a will? Yes, you may make a will for money, for where you want to be buried, if you want to be cremated, for your clothes, for your jewelry, for the guitar you have, for your phone. Make a will. I leave all I have to my daughter, to my son, to my husband, to my children. And I was saying about a situation where a young man died on the job, and when we wrote to the government agents that he was employed to, because he had died on the job, we were told that his estate was entitled to $8 million. That young man could have said, I had nothing, and probably said so and made no will. So you have to go and administer the estate. So I'm begging persons, let's get in the culture of making a will. And young people don't listen to the older people who tell you that they're not making any will because if they make it, they're going to die. What happens is that most of us wait until we are dying to make one. And then we blame death, we blame the will for killing us. When we were on our deathbed when we made it, and we say it's the will that killed us. So young people, we have to change how we are operating. Okay, in a lot of the ways, in a lot of the things that we do, we are going to, if we continue like this, we're going to be third world forever. We're really not, we are so advanced in so many of our activities, so many of our actions, and so backward in so many of them. So I'm begging my listeners, just make the will. I leave all I have, because sometimes you don't even know you have something. And if you make a will, and suppose you make a will and I leave my house in Old Harbour to my son. I leave my house in Old Harbour to my son, and then I sell the house before I die. It doesn't matter. Whatever else is in the will be fine. You don't have to have everything there when you die. Everything that you mentioned in the will. You don't have to have everything when you pass. Also, suppose, for example, you buy a house after you have made the will. When I make a will, I always have a residuary clause. That's a clause, we call it a catch-all clause. That says I leave all I have not given away. So JPs who make wills, principals, teachers who make wills for persons, always put in a residuary clause. I leave anything. I won't make it so complex because I leave all my real and personal property, not otherwise disposed of. You don't need it to be so complex. I leave anything. I leave anything I have not yet put in the will. I leave anything I have not yet given away. Okay, I leave the residue of my estate. Any wording like that too. Put something in there to catch what is left or what was not given away. And remember, please, that the witness to the will is not to get anything out of the will or the witness's spouse. The witness or the witness's spouse should not be beneficiaries in the will. Please be reminded of that. I see someone send me a text message, but JP needs to seal the will. JPs, please do not put your seals on person's will. If you are witnessing the will, you are not witnessing it in your capacity as a JP. You are witnessing JP is not a profession. So you are witnessing somebody's will, and you are a JP, Gloria Brown lawyer, Gloria Brown teacher, Gloria Brown businessman. You are not witnessing it in your capacity as a judge of the peace. Do not put your seal on person's will. Because a lot of times we have to do what we call an affidavit of plight and condition to explain to the court why the seal is on the people's will. There is nothing on a will to be sealed. You want two witnesses who are over 18 years old, you don't need a JP. So JPs, please, when you're witnessing Gloria Brown, you can put JP beside your name, but put your occupation. Because when I'm going to do an affidavit later, when I'm probated, I'm going to need your occupation. And JP is not an occupation. Also, retired is not an occupation. We don't accept that in Jamaica. It has to be retired teacher, retired soldier, retired policeman. You can't put retired lawyer because a lawyer don't retire. Okay? So please remember, you don't need any JP seals on your will for the person who sent the message. Not necessary at all. Please remember, you can send me a WhatsApp message. My number is 876-387-3183, 876-387-3183, or you can send me an email, gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. Remember, you can also call me in office, 908-1950. That's my office number, 908-1950, or 908-3518 is also another number that we have in the office, 908-3518. It is very, very important. Okay, what I'm saying to us on this program that we have been saying for the last so many years, and I know persons have learned, but there's still much more to be learned, much more to be taught. There are so many things. Another thing that I need that I'm encountering too many problems with restrictive covenants, especially for persons living in Portmore. When you are going to add on and you're going to build big and large because the neighbor's house is bigger than yours and you don't see why the neighbor's house should be bigger than yours and them not brighter than you and them not have more money than you. But remember, the neighbor might not have any plan to borrow any money or to sell the house. And I have so many problems with properties in Portmore where persons are now trying to sell and can't sell because the buyers have got a surveyor's report which shows that the building says you must not be less than 35 feet from the center of the road, and you have put up this big thing that is even touching the gate. That's a problem. People in Waterford might get away with it because Waterford was not built to allow persons with much space and much expansion. So the Portmore Municipal Corporation is very sympathetic when it comes to Waterford. As long as you can show that you had building approval, and that's another part of the problem. I'm trying to modify covenants for persons all over Jamaica, but most of them just went and built. They never got any approval to build. And when I go to court, the first in the municipal corporation, the parish councils in different parishes ask me for where is the approved building plan. So a lot of time persons have to go now and get somebody to draw a plan for them before I can go back to court. And remember, the modification of covenants is costing like nearly $500,000 to modify these covenants, Be very careful. And a lot of times, especially in Portmore, they're very strict. They're saying to me, tell the client to hit off that part of the house. Can you imagine? So before you go and build, show your architect or your draftsman, let them look at the title and see what is the distance covenant. There's always something there to say what the distance should be from the neighbors. You can't just build bank to bank and say you're going to and say the wall is yours, you're going to build on the wall. It doesn't work like that. And the Portmore Municipal Corporation is very strict. They're asking persons to knock down these sections of the buildings that are in breach. So before you go and add, don't just call a little man and say add a room. Look at the title and also get a proper drawing done and apply to the relevant parish council, municipal corporation for permission before you jump and start building. Too many problems, too much money being wasted, and most times you go to court. Sometimes you have to go to court 3, 4, 5 times on these things because the local authority is not giving their approval. And some of them you just have to give up on. So I'm encouraging my listeners, please take note of what I'm saying in relation to that. Take careful note of what I'm saying in relation to adding. And before you start building as well, get a surveyor's report. Because it might say 5 feet. Don't just get a tape measure and measure 5 feet. The surveyor will know 5 feet from where. Because sometimes when you do, the breach is so small. The breach sometimes is just a few inches and you run into problems. So when the person has to cut off, and when you're building, remember the eaves. Don't just do it from the wall of the house. The eaves must be considered. The eaves of the house, you have to measure from where the eaves that hang off from the house. You have to measure from that to get your 5 feet or your 6 feet or whatever it says. So there are lots of things that we need to consider. I don't know what is going to happen in terms of, I don't know how we're going to deal with a lot of the problems we're having, because I know, as I said, persons have learned, persons are asking the right questions, but still because of the desperation, and I've always said that it's easy for me to talk. I can talk because I'm in the 2 or 5 or 7% of those who have the education maybe can afford to buy a house. When the average person can get a little piece of land, a little young person starting out, want to leave mother's house and can get a piece of land, they're not concerned even if the person who is selling to them owns it. They just want, when birds want to make nests, they just want to make nests. And I said on the program that a good friend of my a client who I really one a client who is a good friend. When I was calling with her and said, how can you put up this $40 million house and this piece of land you don't have any, and this piece of land you don't have any paper for it? She said, Miss Brown, when people get land, the building call them, and building call them. When you have a piece of land, building call them. And I know building call all of you, but so Miss Brown and Miss Finley are very accommodating. They will even give you a little advice even on the phone. But don't just jump and just start building, because I see so many persons who have built on land only to hear that the person they bought it from is not the owner. It's family land. It's all kind of problems. And remember, please, when you're buying land, get a lawyer. Get a lawyer to represent you, and don't use the lawyer for the one who is selling. Buyers and sellers should have different lawyers. So when the conflict comes, we can take the side of somebody. So that's my word to my listeners this afternoon. And as usual, I will never finish a program without begging you to make the will. Do write it down. Short pencil better than long memory. Write it down. Get a little piece of paper. I leave all I have to my children. They don't need more than that. If you can't do any better. I mean, we should all go to lawyers and get the lawyers to write them for you. But if you can't get the lawyers to write the will, then even buy a will form at a bookstore. Very easy to deal with. Very easy to accommodate. Very, very, very easy to use. But I beg of my listeners, please make the wills. Make the wills, I beg of you. Make the wills. Make the wills. We have too many problems. We have too many problems. And a lot of the problems are caused because persons are refusing to write down things. A lady said to me last week that her mother said that she's not making no will. She's going to leave it to all of them fight over. And now after they're not fighting, what kind of backward way is that of thinking? What kind of backward way is that of thinking? We have to do better than that. We have to do better than that. Who I mean, I don't think persons, I won't call other type of persons, other races and so on. But as black people, we have to think differently. We have to think that our children must be better off than us. That's how we build a nation. You can't tell the children you're not going to make any will because they must fight right when you die. And that is why some of us can rest in peace in our graves because of the fight that we have left behind. So I beg my listeners, please, remember that I'm Gloria Brown, and this is Land Solutions, and was said thanks to Dervan, thanks to Adrian, and thanks to you, my listeners. Please sort of take the matters out for me. I beg of you. Look forward to having you next week on Land Solutions. Have a good day.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Understand, it's in your power to have a positive relationship with money. A change in our financial situation starts with a change in how we think about money. Clearing out any negative feelings like insecurity or fear about money can help remove the blockages that may prevent improving your financial well-being. Your relationship with money is not fixed. It's one that can evolve over your lifetime. Three important things about the psychology behind your relationship with money. Money is about emotions, not just finance. Anxiety or avoidance of money issues may create a vicious cycle, and your upbringing may affect how you manage your money. With awareness, insight, and knowledge, you can start working to make empowered decisions about your money.
I've learned some lessons in my life. Lessons in my life. Always be careful.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on both sides of the story, Paro 106 FM. On the heels of today's edition of Land Solutions, thank you very much, Attorney at Law Gloria Brown and your team. And we thank the Paro 106 team on this end for making sure all is well throughout the broadcast. Good afternoon to Rudolph in Stony Hill. He says, Sir Malcolm, bless up. I believe the criminals and murderers are more sorry for. I think what he's trying to say is more people are sorry for the victims than the victims and their families. And he goes on to say, if government is to get tougher on these criminals and put harsher penalties, you have certain bodies and even opposition against whatever is imposed, whether under or over age. If them can rob, kill, rape, whatever crime they committed, they must pay dearly for it, else it won't cut down. These young men just get up and go around taking lives and walking around freely like nothing. Schoolers, adults, murdering people. It is a most unfortunate scenario, one that I can't imagine well-meaning Jamaicans being a part of such atrocities. But such is the nature of man, which is why we always say man must be protected from himself, because left to himself, man is perhaps the most destructive creature on the face of the planet. Thank you very much for your message. Let's go to another one. Let's see. Quite a few messages to choose from. Let's go to this one saying, this is from Ralston saying, "Hail Dervan for your legacy in Jamaica. You can't teach the upcoming athlete how to give a proper interview. When they're giving interviews, sometimes I have to turn away my head in shame. See what you can do. You're so good at language arts. Hugo." Hugo, I have to take it a little easy with the youngsters. They are learning, and they're not. We all learn at different levels and in different ways. But they encouraging them is a good thing to do. Give them a good word, especially if you know them well, as a friend or neighbor or colleague. Give them some encouragement. The eloquence will come eventually in their own way. Thank you for your message. Ren, I think we read this one already. Yes, we read that one already. Let's move on. And Andrea says, oh, this is Andrea Reese. We've interviewed her before on both sides of the story in the promotion of her solar streetlights. And if you move around the corporate area in particular and elsewhere, when it gets dark, then you might have seen one or two of these solar streetlights. And she has been doing her best to apprise us of the impact, the positive impact of the use of these solar streetlights. Perhaps we can catch up with you at some point and do a follow-up. Andrea Reese, thank you very much for reconnecting. H. Morgan in Birmingham says, "Hi, Dervan. According to Miss Lou, howdy do to you." Not sure if it's the right patois spelling, she says. Two things. It's a shame we can't read the daily newspapers without seeing some sort of killing taking place. It's such a shame on the beautiful island of Jamaica. Next, I read where your beloved Calabar is experiencing an academic downturn. Fewer than 50% of students get a qualifying pass. What is going on with some of the youth of today? Don't they realize that without a good education, you're almost nothing in society? The violence in school now reaches crisis proportions and is threatening to overtake academic performance. Thank God for those who are still holding their heads high. Indeed, and we do our best in that regard, and we're still doing our best. And there are other children coming up and they're doing their best. So let us keep working. Let us keep reaching out and encouraging and playing our part and helping them to get the resources that they need to do better and to be better. Thank you for your message, H. Morgan in Birmingham. And yes, we read this one already. Let's move to another. This is Patrick Howell. A few messages. Good day, Miss Gloria Brown. Oh, we read that one already. And then Patrick says, Ms. Brown, it's for real that lawyers don't retire. Is it for real that lawyers don't retire? Question. No wonder we're having, and he laughs it off. Okay. Thank you for your message. This is both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. We're taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Let's go to this call coming through on our text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
To you and our honorable listener. Blessed noon. What's going on, public educator?
You tell us.
Oh, Freedom Redemption International Repatriation of all black sons and daughters in Haiti and here in Jamaica. The only solution to the Haiti problem is to send on the people, to them farmer heavy, see it? America, England and Canada who are fight and CARICOM who are fight for Haiti can go control it, send on the people then. Anyway, but me and you want reason for still. You always hear me talk about the monarch of Jamaica, which is King Charles currently now. And everyone that tell me say King Charles now have no power, he's only ceremonial. Now we see King Charles command him overseas government Jamaica here prepare. You don't know if you see it. How much?
Yeah, that's
100 million.
Mm-hmm.
You can't bring it up to me. You see it?
No, I'm not. I'm not looking at it right now, but I am aware of the story, and yes, I am aware.
Yeah, my honorable. All right, that's like how you have right to give thanks. So me I say, so the man exercise in reserve power and command in our ask Jamaica government, in demand them to do that, to pay 100 million, to Vibes Cartel. What a thing, and yet still we say Jamaica society has said an independent, and so the sovereign of Jamaica speak there, and you owners and in cabinet and King Charles cabinet of your obedient to that. I see. So we call upon this Jamaica government, Prime Minister Andrew Onis and his colleagues, Mark Golding, I see, who sell out the black population here, 62 years ago now, I see, to a British sovereignty, I see, to rule with them in a Jamaica, sabotage their knives and standing up as a proud black independent nation, If Charles could not come talk to I and I, a country with a black population like this, when you hear Magwami, he come away, He come away in this judgment,
Well,
demand in government down here to clear that and them have to be obedient. Can reserve power, King Charles reserve power to dismiss any incumbent.
and he did so. He did so under. You could say as well. He did so under advisement.
Oh, which advisement? Tell me, Sean.
He would have had legal advice. The Privy Council, not to be confused with the other, with the legal component, with the other Privy Council, the other Privy Council, because I think up to that last time you had mentioned, we talked about that there is the Privy Council and there is the Privy Council. So one where you have the professionals who are advising the king, that's one, and then the other would be in relation to the court.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is not the Governor General of Jamaica in talk, in bypass the Governor General and talk to the government, not the other state.
Yes.
Which is team office down here, the government in talk to Andrew Onis. See it. I will say Andrew Onis never go. I am what you call the coronation. I know it never get in invited, you know, or what kind could that send him spouse, you know, him and her empress like with other leaders of the world who never present. You know, see it. So Andrew Wellness, not there nowhere right now. You know, King Charles, you know, around Jamaica.
Hold on.
Here in Jamaica, you know.
Yeah, hold on, please.
So,
one moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Power 106 FM, the digital sound, now reaching you in more ways. Listen to us on 106.1 to 106.9 on the FM band. You can also listen to us on the Power 106 FM app, which you can download on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can tune in on your mobile phones by dialing 631-359-8281 if you're in the US. And if you're in the UK, you can dial 0330-606-0953. Plus, listen to us on onespotmedia.com and the One Spot Media app, or log on to go-jamaica.com. Power 106 FM, where all views can contend, giving you powerful talk radio in so many ways, on air and online.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Good to see David G.A. Dixon on this afternoon. Good afternoon to you. He says, a blessed afternoon to you and the team. Hope all is well. All is indeed well, and we give thanks. Thank you very much, David. Good to see you online, and all the best. It's been a while. Let's go back to the caller on the line now, on the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. Ras Lloyd, we're back with you.
Honorable, good personality. So, we are called upon all CARICOM leaders who wish to gather themselves here at Pegasus the other day, you know. And we see Canada now come a train a black contingent or black sons and daughters. We send them at 80, you know. We fulfill their interests, you know, not the people of 80. You know, see, but we set up a puppet government like Jamaica here and the CARICOM here in 80. Them don't want to have a black government in the world, not in the West here, and then in Africa and the continent is the same thing. You know?
So hold on a little. Hold on a little. Forgive me. I was busy over the weekend. Have the Haitians signed off on a governance pact or a governance structure? Have you heard anything on that?
No. Yeah, I say I now sign off on nothing. You know, see it France, Canada, America, England, and CARICOM, and then one set up a puppet government.
I know, but I'm asking you if you heard anything of it coming into force. Because remember, it's that announcement was made after they went way into the middle of the night trying to arrive at a position. And then the following morning, there was some indication that some things were going to happen, some good things or some positive things in the name of Haiti, so to speak. And we haven't heard too much since then.
No positive thing can go on under America and Canada, the Iron Black people. You know, because they are the enslavers. You know, see it? They are the enslavers. And the white men not change running ways. Europeans not change running ways. They are planning to come colonize Iron as black people.
And you are going to allow that? You are going to sit down as a liberated African. As a liberated African, you're going to do that? You're going to just let it go that way?
Why we don't say we must not allow that.
Well, nobody else uses the royal we than I do. I use it more than anything else to include myself. Maybe you've been missing it.
Okay. Give thanks so you could have included yourself, you know. Because the man said the time will come when I as black people must be lower paid to return home to Africa.
And every time you say I and I, Every time you say I and I, it can equate to we as well, you know, I and I. It equates to
right.
we. Yeah.
That's right.
Mhm.
So that's why our father said we black people is we, you know, and anything will come after we. You know, see, because one, you know, we have, you remember Aristide come to Jamaica, you said him?
Yes, Jean-Bertrand Aristide.
Yeah, I said America them, you know, and then colleague they take him out and fly him Africa, and then they carry him to Jamaica, you know, and he was this democratic thing was a matter about. He was a
Democratically elected. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by the people.
Yes.
You know, elected, and then take him over. So what these judgment people want, and them take out the man out there now, and then want to set up to them puppet government now. You know, to enough to them interest. So any black leaders are in the country, in the world, when I rule under Britain, France, Canada, and America interest, them assassinate them and get them out of the way. You know? So I need to wake up as black people, all our black brothers in America, like the Honorable President US, you must Vice of America, you call him. And so you call him?
Vice of New York?
Vice of New York, yes, Honorable. Vice of New York. Like when so comfortable in America, and I talk, I'm up there every time and I call, you know. So I want to ask him a personal question. All the atrocities that America want with the black people, you satisfied in America? Where is your conscience in a country like that? You know, see, we oppress black people and slave the burn people and intrigue. And you get the young comes out and the white men to you, they're not going to go like no, not one to you.
Well, what about those? What about those Americans who argue that they are helping to preserve democracy right across the world?
Oh, I thought them are preserve that. I'm just saying the white men not change them wicked ways. Because democracy destroy the world. Democracy is a dictatorship, you know. Because they want to dominate the world. I think what the world in country.
No, that's contradictory, though. It's contradictory to say it's a democracy and at the same time.
All right. All of these
at the same time
in the
uplifting.
world right now. Presence in the world right now. Okay, a democracy that agrees, you know. America and all of them country are democracy then. And of them have fire boom and a bomb bar kill the type of thing. Wickedness in the world and no one can talk to them. You know? No one can talk to them. But the man shall have to take off America off the map in this judgment in the Bible Revelation. It is written in Revelation in 1 hour. America and England gone. You know? So me could be yourself, all of us in America. America no want to in this judgment. The white men no want to more than the slave out and work out the cheap labor. And well, so dangerous amounts, you know, we don't want our black self. And we talk about our African black.
So what kind of world do you want to live in?
What kind of world?
Yes.
I'm living in the world. I already belong. We're chanting to our inheritance, our true nationality. You know? We are in the world right now.
So you want your inheritance. Who do you want the inheritance from? Who do you want to get the inheritance from? First of all, what inheritance and who is going to give you that inheritance?
We have our inheritance. That's why we are demanding our right to return home to a black continent of our own. That is our inheritance as black people in the world. That Marcus we have declared.
The continent of Africa.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole continent is all black sons and daughters of the world. You know, and Europe, America and England and France, France control 20, colonize 20 countries, states in Africa, and in colonies, the biggest colonizer, British control 22. The state language in Africa, you know, is English, state language and government. It's English.
You sure? I thought you would change it. You would go straight back to the to the the African tongue, so to speak.
We have to change it. You know, for our children to come. The man say must reach this style of equality and justice that is in the world of Africa for us as black sons and daughters. Knowing that Africa, with all its natural wealth and resources, is the I and I, black sons and daughters of the world. So we're not supposed to suffer so. The man must get out and make the right men run out in the world and tell us we have no shares in this judgment. Yeah. So we must awake from our slumber and awake from our dream. And the man said, Christ, the black Christ will support us in coming to him, you know? Most eyes, last year, yeah, that's stuff, all right. So let me stand firm in the strength of our master, be loyal, be faithful, and true to our black self, you know? Because we let yourself undone other people, you know? You know, hopeless and undone. We let yourself undone and busy in the white men affair. And we'll up to them judgment by queendom. Our kingdom now, because Charles a king now. I will up to them something. That's why they could have come dictate.
So why you don't? Why we don't hold up our sitting? Why?
Through institutional slavery, what going in the world, church, business community, college, and them institution, they were brainwash the nation, you know.
But they can't brainwash you without your permission.
So how you speak English?
And what language are you speaking? What language are you speaking?
Educators as black people in Jamaica, will I say the Caribbean here.
Yeah, but you realize that we are the fruit of circumstances.
We are the fruit of circumstances. What circumstances?
Life happens, things happen, people come forth.
People come forth.
In particular places.
We give thanks to the first. We give thanks greatly, more than words can tell, you know, for the first people, you know, the first humanity, and the father and mother of mankind. I and I, black sons and daughters, you know.
Yes, in fact, a lot of that recognition takes place these days. If you're in New Zealand, if you're in Australia, if you're on the African continent, where no function starts without paying tribute to the indigenous peoples of that particular country, area, territory, nation, etc., because they take it seriously.
Yeah, so we have to take our life seriously, you know.
Yes.
The I and I children to come. So what we need to do now, you and I, you know, and all people who stand in a black consciousness of ourselves, we will stand up now and demand our right, you know. Because we have no battleship and we have no weapon. We couldn't take up arms against Britain and America. That's why this man said that spiritual awakening, you know.
Yes.
You see the understanding? Turn to ourselves, find out our black culture.
Yes.
You know? That kind of black fabric, black our own. So this Jamaican government and now Andrew Holness, Ravosira Rwanda now and Mark Golding, you know, King Charles II puppet prime minister when set up in Jamaica, you know, and the Caribbean, you know, when can dictate, you know, saying? And then all CARICOM leaders, you call it up and sabotage the black redemption, and we have all the people, set the people then free on a van down umbrella. Also the church, who will be a jump and restoration bandwagon. Because them say repatriation and them second point.
What do you mean when you say set the people free? Tell us when we come back from this break briefly, because we're going to wrap in a moment. All right, one moment, please.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
work is a real good need to eat. Roast it, check it, any way you do it. It have enough more protein than you think. Enough vitamins will put for your system. Work is a real good need to eat. Roast it, check it, any way you do it. So delicious, nutritious, it's full of B12. And this the meat is sweet. Pork is a real good meat to eat. Jamaican pork, always a healthy choice. To taste your protein choice. A message from the Jamaica Pig Farmers Association.
Yes, Russ Lloyd, thanks for staying with us. So, what do you mean by liberating the people? Explain that to us, please.
Oh, not X. X is a symbol of wrong, you know. So we have the R stream now. And then we have the R stream, you know. When they find the X thing, you know. That X is a symbol of wrong. X is wrong from school days, you know. You know, I'm going to the X world, you know. This world on the vote X. They get a government, you know, to rule over, you know. So we don't expect no progress out of X, you know. Because X is Satanism, you know. So we call them upon all world X of government, you know, who benefit from the slave trade. We set black people free from out of the Western world here, you know, with 7 or 9 miles of Black Star Liner to return home to Africa. And remember, if them arm, you know, earthquake, lightning and thunder, famine and pestilence, you know, the man say Egypt, Jamaica, you know, or the Western world here in other words, you know. About blood in this judgment when the party is house, you know, and that is no sun never shine down, no moon, no star, down to the very food. When in the earth, I jump up and open town, we have up the Nile, you know. To return home to Africa. Nothing just have a dark and blue land.
So, what time period are we looking at? What time period are we looking at? What time period are we looking at? Hello? Are you there? He's having internet problems. Yeah, we lost some of what you were saying. Your internet was giving problems. Your internet was giving problems, yes.
No. The time is now. But the hour is not yet come, you know, because I want our judgment, you know. And Babylon Gando, King Charles, and him colleagues, you know, in Charicum government, they may have in the world, you know, and France and Germany, you know, see.
Yes. Hello? All right, I think we have to wrap it here because the connection has gotten worse. Hello? Yeah, the connection has gotten worse. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. We're gonna have to wrap. Take care.
Yes, Ann Arbor.
All right, bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and that was Russ Lloyd continuing on his journey, on his path, and we'll see. Hold on. Just seeing a story now. Let's see how current it is. Just need a little assurance as to the source and the efficacy of this item coming out of the Miami Herald, miamiherald.com, news/nation-world. And I suspect this link was sent by Franklin McDonald. Someone is trying to dial in, and there's a message here as well. Please bear with us. One moment, please. Coming to you in just a moment. All right, let's All right, and this link is taking a while to materialize into a story. So we'll come back to that. Let's go to the caller on the text line, same as, let's go to the phone lines. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
I am good. Very hot here.
Sorry, just pause for a moment, just in case Russ Lloyd is still listening. That the story from the Miami Herald, dated the 26th of April, and the time that 9:51 a.m., says Haiti enters new era of governing, presidential council sworn in, prime minister resigns. So action has indeed been taken. Let's see what unfolds going forward. We'll continue to monitor that situation. All right, let's go to the caller who is online. Hello, thanks for holding. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Dervan. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Good, good. I hope Haiti can resolve their problem soon because it's near to the Caribbean, it's near to Jamaica and to the Dominican Republic, and they can contribute great to the GDP.
Yes, we wish them well.
Now, I went to a tournament a couple months ago, a golf tournament, and it was there. Most of the people were there, they're rich people. But I went there in my capacity to work. And while I was at the tournament, they have a lot of outdoor bathroom toilet facilities, mobile, air condition. They run off a generator or electricity. So very good, well efficient. And they have men and women cleaning them. When you go in there, you can sit down in there and read and whatever. And people come in there and check and make sure it is cleaned every day. So I think going forward in Jamaica to solve that problem, the sanitary inconvenience problem, I think we should import about 10 to 15,000 of these mobile systems. And the private sector and the government can get involved. And the private sector would advertise on them, and each place you put them community. You put them in Western Kingston, the people in Western Kingston will be employed to monitor these things and to run these things. And these bathrooms will fully equipped with outdoor cameras, back and front. And it linked to the central police station throughout the corporate area. And you have them in Hanover, Westmoreland, all over the place. And you could generate hundreds of employment. People who retire, people who are handicapped, and they get full salary, they get tips, and you buy your mobile card, so whether you are, what you call it, the people who get minimum wage people, they pay less, and people at the high end pay more. You buy a car, you swipe your card, you go in there to use it. So we could solve the problem. Rather than to lock them up right now because you can't find place to urine wherever you go. So we need to come and talk to these companies that build these mobile sanitary systems and put them all over Jamaica and put the logos, the people, business people advertise, the Insurance Center and the Corporation Council. They will set up an independent monitoring committee to run it. Private sector and government, they run it, they operate it, they see how it is being done. So can we look at something like that?
Yeah, we can look at as many things as possible, but ensure that we are in line with what is more likely to work based on our culture, our heritage, our general practices and other matters?
Because here in Florida, you can go to any KFC, McDonald's and use the restroom. They don't ask whether you're a customer or not. You can use that. But the Jamaican people are paying their tax. They're paying their water bill. And I understand. I get it. They can't afford you to running up their water bill, so they're not going to allow you to use it. So that is where both government in waiting and one is in. That is where we have to look at to solve these problems once and for all. Now, let's go to Westmoreland, where all these cows are running the road and killing people. Why not have retired police officers, retired security officers, and train them? And, I used to live in a place where that accident that killed that businessman in Westmoreland recently. I used to live in a place called Ferry. So it's close to Waterworks. I know they used to have an ice factory. I don't know if they still have the ice factory. But I could walk from Ferry to Waterworks if I wanted to. Why not have all these people that I mentioned and give them the power, well supervised, well regulated, and they patrol these roads 24 hours. That when you see these cows and horses and donkeys and whatever, you shoot them with what you call the stun gun, whatever they call them. And that would be more important than the taking people's life. Would you agree with me?
No, I would have to look into the system deeper than that. I would have to take a deep dive. Can't just brush the surface, so to speak. We need a little more to come to a conclusion as to what would be more effective or not.
When I used to live in Canada, a place called Guelph off Highway 6. What runs on those roads, because I used to live in the country, it was deer, wild deer, run across the street. And when you're going 100, God help the soul. And when the car hits those deer, they are mashed. So I am saying people's life is important, and then we have to come to the realization, is it the cow life is important in Westmoreland, or the people's life is important? Don't tell me, boy, it doesn't happen to me, but it happened to somebody who I don't know. It's going to happen to one of us one day who drives in all these country areas. Eh? Would you understand what I'm saying?
It goes without saying that something must be done. As to what, it doesn't sound as if that has been worked out yet.
So are we going to take another one more year to come up with the arithmetic to understand, say, hey, this is a solution?
I thought that's what you were doing.
No. I am saying use all these retired people. The parish council is responsible. We call them ward or whatever you call it. And I am saying, when these people have these stun guns and they're in the vehicle,
I heard you the first time.
Yes, and they see these animals. They have to put down these animals. That's what they have to do. Now, let's look at your drought system that is a plaguing Jamaica, the drought system. Why can't we say the next 3 years, the drought system would be once and for all come to an end?
You can dictate that to nature. You can tell nature that, and it will happen.
I would not go down that foolish part. That's not what I'm alluding to. In Texas, they dissimulate something like that. They are not going to use human waste water when you urinate to build drinking water. That's what they're doing in Texas.
That's been going on a long time ago.
Yes, but people from Africa now is coming out to build the concept. And I am saying that look at the Cubans there. Why not say this is a priority for the next 3 years? You call the Cuban and say, listen, we want 3 microdams. Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey. Why not build 3 of the largest microdam in the Caribbean?
Hold a moment, please. Bring us to conclusion after the break, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Intelligent people. I'm an aggressive man and that love aggressive people. I'm fire man and that love fire people. I'm an awful man and I love awful people. I'm an intelligent man and I love intelligent people.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Yes, sir. You were talking about. Go ahead.
I don't know if you're a journalist or you're a talk show. I don't know.
Well, you'll figure it out eventually.
I never asked that question. But I am saying that is the way we have to go to solve the water crisis once and for all. And for the next 3 years, we'll be having 3 microdams in the entire Jamaica to supply the water capacity. We can look at that. And one other thing with our discourse, is the gentleman you was just talking to a while about, I don't remember how you pronounce his name. But when we disagree people, we send text messages, we curse them, we talk all type of nasty arguments about them.
Wrong program. Wrong program. Wrong program.
And I'm saying to Jamaicans, you don't have to agree with Matt. You don't have to agree with Matt. We must stop that kind of behavior. Right? Because my point, what I'm coming to, as Captain Spend said something over the weekend. I think he's just as the leader of the opposition. But the leader of the opposition, he takes the leader of the opposition out of context. Where he said Jamaica is a part of some.
No, let's talk about today's debate. That was another program on another station.
So the point what I'm making, and Burling is right when he said Jamaica is a part of the signature. And Adka, I'm not a cheerleader for Adka Fitzgerald, but Adka Fitzgerald is absolutely right. But the time has come in Jamaica to pass bill now that whether you're 15-year-old or you're 16-year-old, 17, 13, 14, and you commit these vicious crimes, or people pay you to commit these crimes, don't tell me that you're underage, that you must not get life imprisonment. Do not tell me that. Do not tell me that smugglers is using you. People are using you to perpetrate these crimes. I used to be in some of the toughest communities in Jamaica when I go to look for my cousin in Kingston. And these boys, 14, 15, beat the test. Oh, I can't go to prison because I'm not an adult. Jamaica will have to change the law that you send the message that if you're 14, 13, going up, and you commit crime, murder, or whatever, your penalty must fall within the ambit of the adult. Would you agree with me?
The law must take its course, yes.
Thank you. So I would say to Oscar, sit down with the leader of the opposition, work it out. And when you work it out, come together that you're sending a message to these youngsters. Because if you come here in Florida and see these youngsters, when I go to the place to see them, 15, 16, 17, Dervan, let me tell you something. If you're not strong, you could not go around them, the juvenile place where they are, and they treat them like an adult. And the judges now here are looking at their sentence like an adult. That's the way we have to go. My last point to you before I go is to ask, this is not private. This is not nobody's private business. One, I say to the Prime Minister wife of Jamaica, apologize to the former clerk of the House. Simple as that. Apologize. And I would like the Minister of Finance to tell the country, if Paula Lewin, the former director of public prosecution, is she getting her paycheck come next month or what? Because this is not the private business of Mrs. Lewin. This is the public purse. We would like to know and close the argument. Christopher Justice must tell us how much he's paying Damian King, whatever they call him, as consultant to reform the hospital service of Jamaica. Why we can't know how much he's paying him? What is the problem, Dervan?
Isn't that some information that you can get from the unit? What's that unit I normally mention when those subjects come up? The access to information unit. So I would suggest if you're
no, I'm not there, and I don't know if it's online. I am asking the question. Why can't?
But I'm telling you that is one. Well, that's the only place I know of right now where you can get that information, the access to information unit, if you are serious about that.
You talk to us all the time, and since you come here all the time, and since you, Dervan, we all respect, and you love you love us in the diaspora. Can you get that information? Can you publish that information? Can you give us the feedback? How much it is costing the taxpayer for the minister to pay some cheerleader?
Well, you said you don't know if I'm a journalist or a broadcaster, so
no, I was asking.
So you don't need my assistance there.
Dervan, I don't know if you're trying to play a Google on me right now. But anyway, Dervan, we can agree and we can disagree. Get the information and let us know, and we talk again.
I hear you. Thank you for the call. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I am good, but I wonder how you was at the pen relay. It seems like you're losing touch of the diaspora.
Not at all. Not at all. The connection with the diaspora runs so deep that you don't even know when we're communicating. It runs deep.
But I know that was one of the areas I always like listening with. Hey, Mark, it said in here. It can't get TV down this. I wonder which world is living in. Why, when you're putting a project together, even to repair a road, and when you go through and do all the paperwork you have to do, it takes an area here. You have to survey, you have to regrade, you have to reverse elevation on some road, and you have to draw up a plan that you work off when you're going to, and if you are going to make
I don't know about the concept. My things are anyway, that's not what I'm sorry about. You know, I am a bit upset when you have a fire like the one in Westmoreland. And here is this woman that you lose a 10-year-old son. And you're going to arrest the woman. And it's not like she did nothing to get you out of fire. And it's just unfortunate that the youngster was in the room. And this lady now who has to grieve losing her 12-year-old son. I wonder what type of police they have down here. These policemen are heartless. They know when a woman loses her children. And, you know, some of the stupidity we do in this country, I wonder if we don't. And I wonder about people we elect to represent us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously in that kind of a situation, you want to give due regard because the situation calls for it in both sides. Both.
It's not that you could see when they say they are invested. You have enough country where poverty is so rampant. A woman may have her 2 children and she runs down to the corner shop to get something to buy. The same children are matching about down the street. The woman knows that too, so now you both and you allow her. You know, because we know children, all of us are children, you know. Children are people that explore.
Yeah, the matter will have to be dealt with, but in stages. The matter will have to be dealt with.
Brother, I think we are one place like that, and I think it's time. Some of us people silent in this country. We have some people, and when you look now at the salary they are getting, you know, because we live in a hard time, you know. I remember when my mother usually to go to mass, they was in this country, and it's the bigger sister that have to take care and sell to return. Because that's the only source of living. And so that don't exist in this country. We don't have a safety system like in England where if you're not working, your children get money and they can go to school. That I was one time they were saying that it's better to unemployed in England because the source that the state look after you and that you get more money than when you're working. So you know you can see that. But what you don't have a safety net in Jamaica. And it is somebody that is on school board like me and Koto and got the parents that is eating and things like that. That's when you realize you are going through because sometimes you are in a privileged job and you don't realize what the people at the bottom of the society is doing. And that is why people who say they are representing, you know, cannot know that they are being properly treated. They have got to be social worker and try to get the institution in place. You know, because when I was on an earlier program today with Dr. And I said, one thing you can say, everybody always talk about equality. But that man put the institution in place.
Well, hold on, please. We have to wrap after this. There are couple of callers waiting. Hold on, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Yes, thanks for holding, TT. Go ahead, please.
Just things like when we did it, we still tropical flower. We don't eat. I remember that is one of the first area like that I know. And we never did bath. You go to the bath, they have no bath. And
well, they do. They do. It's a matter of who has access to them or whether those who need to use them.
Yeah, but you know your customer, especially your elderly customer. We have to start to look serious at some of these issues, man. Really, as local government people. And that is why you as a diaspora person, when you go to place like the United States, Canada, and England.
Yes, I had my coins in England, in Manchester, at the train station.
Yeah, man.
So I know what that is like.
Yeah, man. You know, this is what some of the simple things. I call these low fruit. You can deal with those things, not the big micro dam like. You know, some of the simple things, you know.
Yes.
And try to clean up the place. You can clean up it, you know, make the place more accessible.
Yes.
The day cleanliness is a part of God.
Thank you very much for the call and your timeliness. All the best. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon to Natalie Winter. She says, blessings from Washington Gardens, Kingston, Jamaica. Have a wonderful rest of the day and keep up the amazing work. Remember, you're very kind, Natalie. Remember to take care tomorrow. Okay, I'll do the best I can. Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida says, Mac, you're behaving so elementary. Thank you for the messages. Keep them coming. Stephen Barnes says, bless up, Sir Malcolm. Boy, you have patience. LOL, Lloyd. Wayne Thompson says, a pleasant good afternoon, Dervan. What I would say is that we can invest in water harvesting, allow all the water harvesting technology to be cheap and easily available. This would be cheaper than building dams or major water catchment systems. Thank you very much, roboticist Wayne Thompson, for your perspective. We appreciate you. All the very best to you. All right, let's go to another caller who has been holding now for 23 minutes and 21 seconds. Good afternoon. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for calling. Greetings.
Yes, Mr. Dervan, I respect your time and that I really appreciate your work. But this Dervan was talking, it wasn't coming over so plain. I don't know what time the transmission it will be like you know when you turn on a tape and it's been dragging.
Yes.
So I was hearing him so clearly. But I don't know what the system is like. But my point is almost similar like what he was saying about the youth that died in the fire.
Yes.
And then afterward, we heard on the news that they are going to lock up the mother. Oh my God. Oh, I tell you, Mr. Dervan, I tell you, I'm human. And respectively, people life, and we cannot make life. But I know the Heavenly Father must have grieved to see what's taking place with people down here. Not only in Jamaica, no, across the universe. For in certain land right now, more than thousands of children die because of the war. So many sleeping outside of a camp, many sleeping in the Jew, all of these things happening. And we don't realize. And that's why many people jump to the conclusion and say, Well, we got there. But we know time is the master of everything. But what I'm saying now, pertaining to human rights and all of these people, and those who've been lobbying and lawyers and all those who are at the top, Prime Minister and all of them, do they have any feelings for human? Especially these people who lost their children, and you hear one side, they go and lock up the parents, they don't know the circumstances, they didn't know how they eat or drink, they don't know what took place, and all the news are said they're going to lock up the mother, an 8-year-old child who died in fire, and they're going to lock up. You know that woman can feel depressed and might be out of it, right?
Yes, like so many confrontations in the past, which we have witnessed, where we really shouldn't do a sort of a broad brushing. Every situation is different, every case is different, every individual is different, and these factors are to be taken into account. But we should never discount either the laws of the land, but do so with due regard to the nature of the situation and those who are involved. And we could say some more, but we don't want to monopolize the talk schedule.
Mr. Dervan,
yes.
Let me tell you something. Sometimes when you check it out, it's like something that frightens you, right?
Yes.
It might kill the other person.
True.
And that other person, it might even shake him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when I look into the situation, I'm almost in that situation. A person tell a liar and me say they want my house for a week. And nothing like that, and they lock me up and have me in the lock-up for over 2 weeks. Right? And the court is going on right now. They put it off till next year. Right? With nothing to go so. And if they ever know my feelings, or anyone, psychiatrist or whatever, they would know. And just the Almighty has said, let me know do something different. I mean, I intend to do it, for I know how the devil is strong. And him only one know what my intention is. So these people, I'm bringing them, investigate things properly, do things properly. For we've been saying God I watch all of it, but let me tell you something. There are people, a dog heart, animal heart, those who sit over us. I don't think they kill one bit. They're only fighting for the head, so they are minister, whosoever they are the head. I don't think they care, or they believe I have no feelings for people till when they reach and then doorstep. That if it can reach us, money is power. Money is power. And it's bleed my heart. When I heard it over the news, well, lock up the woman. Although I don't know the circumstances, we only hear about the fire and the child burn up. But I put myself in that situation to post me outside and not paying any attention. My mind the father consider how me going to get the next meal or whatever, and how if we want to go shop and come back or whatever, and when we reach the house, I'm going to pick the gun up. And then come lock me up. That will get me out of my mind more.
Yes, we have to be a little more sensitive. We know the anxiety or that rush of blood. We have to do something. We have to do this. Let's go and get this and that and so on.
We are in the situation from the conference from them said Jamaica get independence, but if I don't feel it getting better, we have better houses, yes. I might be better little drinking water, yes. And we can have AC in our house, yes. Some have swimming pool and can eat 3 times a day, yes. But some people out there, it dread, and said dread. And these people sitting there, cool shade office or AC office, don't know what's going on. And they had a battalion amount of people around if you just see man kill him. Go there and hold them and lock them up. And do. You know how many people in lock up right now when they get bail from week and weeks and week? I might be down to see them and take them up, see them to investigate.
We need to remember front and center.
They get paid. Human rights get paid. Children for lobby get paid. We say them a lobby for people rights out. They get paid or they don't get paid. It's a voluntary thing they do.
Voluntary is no, it's definitely not voluntary.
Today, majority of people who trying to sell something to send their children to school. And this morning they were saying nobody's supposed to be on the sidewalk. They do not set any example of setting any way. Say, okay, we're going to sell at a special place. We're going to have a meeting and you're going to sell at this special place. You know what to see out there are there. Everybody, most people was off the street this morning at Spanish Town. Right? Everybody been ups and down like when you know cut off a rooster head and them run up and down. For them to wonder where the next meal come from if they can't sell them children at school tomorrow to what taking place. Anyway, they said they're going to have a meeting tomorrow. So let me see how the meeting going to come. And Mr. Malcolm, when I talk to you, I want to know if when we talk or anybody make any suggestion, there's somebody there to say analyze it and to say, okay, it can put in place.
Somebody like who now? What do you have in mind?
The official authority. Like look how long you're talking about the cemeteries them.
Oh no.
Better. The worst for people who like fire and is like a garbage heap. Some places, especially Spanish Town, to what we see. The front part is like a garbage heap where they burn rubbish.
Well, if you're accustomed to a particular trend, if there's a modus operandi you're accustomed to following, a way of life that you become accustomed to following, it's going to take some time to do better or to do differently. It's going to take time.
Mr. Malcolm, I have so many things to say, but believe in my heart, rent apart to see the situation what we in right now.
Yes.
Government don't know how you eat, government don't know you eat. They might talk about part and some people get what? $5,000 every other month. What can that can ever help person, especially those who are not working? I have 3 pitney or 4 pitney. And some people go in, apply, they turn them down. They have to have no stove, they have to have no TV, they have to have no way to do. Eh? Not because it's not the government responsibility for their children in certain circumstances. But Jamaica, like we're going down a pit, we're not coming out of a pit. If you have to have those, you can get something. I travel and I see it much better in New York. That's why I say most people want to go to New York for they get benefit from the government. Those people who in there have refugees, they can't fool them trolley. When you see them trolley full, that's a surprise. You say if that is a year supply or is a month supply. And Jamaica, you can't go in a supermarket go buy one little chicken back and flour with $6,000 every fortnight. So how that can last any moment or any time? And nothing we have. We are just stranger passing through. And we are trying to help each other the way we can or we should. We're not helping anyone. We're only trying to feather our own bed, our own nest like a fowl. Thanks for your patience, Mr. Malcolm. Have a wonderful day. But I'm telling you, those at head must try to see to it that equal rights and justice. Although we don't see that from the 70 years in the world. We don't see that in Jamaica. No equal right and no justice.
Thank you for the call, the circumstances notwithstanding. Thanks for the call. All the best. Take care.
Thank you.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Cut back on recurring charges. Do you subscribe to services you never use? It's easy to forget about monthly subscriptions to streaming services and mobile apps that charge your bank account, even when you're not regularly using these services. Review your spending for charges like these and consider canceling unnecessary subscriptions to hold on to more money each month.
Driver in America is joining us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon, Driver.
Good afternoon to you, Brother Dervan, and good afternoon to the audience at home and abroad. Yes, the issue that I would like to address is what I'm seeing.
I think we might be getting a bit of feedback from the other device that is where you are.
Okay.
If you can make an adjustment. Because we're getting a lot of the ambience in your background. A lot of the ambience, noises in the background.
How is it now?
Well, it's still there, but let's see if we can fight through it.
Okay, pardon me on that. Listeners, thank you, sir. Yes, Brother Lloyd, as I keep growing, Brother Dervan, I told you, I got quite proficient with drumming. Rastafari drumming. Because growing up, back in them times, Rasta was very fashionable. It didn't even really want to come to the road. It's like the kids like myself who carry wood and stuff like that for them when they're burning coal, because we find out that was a little way to make a little sixpence and stuff like that, or get ginger land, sweetie or whatever, get some ital cooking. And these were people who were members of families that we knew. So, as much as people talk about Blackfoot, Blackheart, man, Donald Gully, Donald Ashwood Gully, and this and that kind of stuff, these were people that we knew. And listening to Rashad, I would ask everyone to understand, read about Rasta and resistance. Offhand, I can't remember the author right now. But the concept, even Peter Tosh that you're playing this evening right here, was undesirable up until quite recently for European. You realize that, sir?
Sorry, say that again?
Peter Tosh, who you're playing right here.
Yes.
He was an undesirable.
Yes. And Bob Marley too. And so many others.
And at the base of this, there was a cultural revolution in Jamaica, and the music speaks to that, in case anyone has any doubts. And it's being reviewed as people, look into our music and hear what was going on, who we were with, and stuff like that. So, Rush Lloyd, you and I, or rather, I won't speak for you, I speak for myself. I can sit comfortably. I know Rush Lloyd not sending out anybody to murder anybody tonight. Rush Lloyd is not going to try to undercut anyone right now, because I know Rasta. And how many of us can say that of so many of our esteemed people who we have so much time for to listen to and tolerate? You see what I'm saying, brother?
Yes, I'm listening. By the way, the author is Horace Campbell.
Yes, Horace Campbell. You ever read that book, sir?
No, but I know of it. I know when it was launched. And some of... Go ahead.
A lot of us. So we get lost in the outer, I would say the ceremony, what we see, the aesthetics of Rasta, put it that way. But there's so much more to it that has to do with the art and things unseen. spirit, strength, determination, all these things. So I know it's a classist response from many people who want to call and tell you, oh, you have tolerance and this and that. They say we have 2 years and 1 more pushing with this. Because that's like, I can't say I agree, the part of departure for me, as I indicated to you, is that Africa is a concept. It is in the heart and not a physical place. Because I had to come to that realization when I look at Africa, the physical place, and my inability to understand why we can't get out.
Yeah.
So, going back to what Rasta is saying, and when Rasta speak, because it's been so, it has been so common in our culture to listen to people, because, and right now we still have a heavy anti-Rastafari sentiment in Jamaica, which is why Bob Marley with all his statements cannot be considered a hero, a national hero in the parliament, in the government. So we know, and the world knows who he is. So, that is a really little consequence. Just that it would go further to make us realize who's running the nation and where their head is, as far as your consciousness. You understand what I'm saying, Brother Dervan?
Yes.
So, people dress back a bit. Listen to everybody. And remember, out of a lot of our heroes, if you go closely, as here's a group, Rastafari elders, tell you all those revolts on the plantation, that was Rasta. The essence of it was Rastafari. So let us try to understand, it's not just about the aesthetics, what you see with your eyes. It's what you can behold with your mind, your heart, your soul, and all of that. So, let's ease up on the judgment. You see, the Bible tells us that judge not, that you shall not be judged. So, that is just my contribution. Because if you listen, that's why I have some heavy stuff. If you really lend ourselves to in between, and who among us can speak and be, spoken nothing but wisdom all the time? We err. You know what I mean? None of us have the total understanding. But if we listen carefully, we can extract, the real message and not be confused by the words. Our words so carefully. So that's my contribution to the thing this evening, brother. Just ease over the judgment people stop. It's a long time now. And a lot of who is speaking, so this is someone who know all in front of my brother there, as leaders and esteemed. It's nice to return to the as Bob Marley said, try to see how many of them will do my way. So, let's give the just man a chance. I can tell who Russ like.
The message is clear.
I grew up. That was a part of my education and continuous study. Just that I'm an absolutist. I never get baptized because I figure about if me get baptized, that's saying I'm at the point when they take you into the water, I'm never just stand up on it. And that's unattainable. Rastafari, the dread, when you put that on, you are the incarnation of the lion and two-foot, which I could not hear. So whoever feel like them reach that level after the baptize and have a dread power to them, but I'm still a student of these things. And as a student, I humble myself and I listen. And I will caution everyone to do the same.
Okay.
One love, brother, there, student tuned in right here listening to it, all right?
Thank you. Thanks for the call. You too. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Just a few minutes to go, but we're still taking your calls on 922-411-225, 876-922-411-225. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And Neville, otherwise known as Salah, says, "Hail up Dervan, I have a problem with Andrew Holness and his government that wants to put away children for 50 years. Why Andrew Holness would want to send away a child for 50 years? A child committed a murder at age 12. That child would not become eligible for parole until he has done 50 years in prison. Dervan, if this is not child abuse, what else is child abuse?" Salah from Kingston. And Dervan, Mac is flogging a dead horse. He'll never get an answers. He will never get an answer from Tufton towards the consultant pay for. Well, I don't know about that name that you include in your message, so I'm jumping over that. And he thinks Mr. Tufton is the worst health minister this country has ever had, and that he and his government had resources for COVID-19 and did not buy one bed out of the money they received. Well, we don't know about that, but thank you for the message. It's always worth looking into when that kind of information comes to hand. But we also know there's another side to that story where people take you on a wild ride, so to speak. And this one, picking up on what Max said about using stun gun and get the information. People need to know the police are doing their job and pleasing Jamaicans. One, your child died I don't think I want to carry on with that at this time and with this space, because we still have people who are mourning at this point. It's quite fresh. So we're going to leave that there for the time being, paying due respect to those impacted. Our condolences. And all right, so we're going to leave that there for the time being. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 29th of April, 2024. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all your piety, nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at 5.
It's the Radio Jamaica Major News Simulcasts. Weekdays at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 12 noon, and 5 p.m. Weekends at midday and 6 p.m. on Power 106 FM and online at onespotmedia.com and go-jamaica.com. Can't catch the news at these times? Download the Power 106 FM app and the One Spot Media app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for news whenever, wherever at your convenience. Power 106 FM, powerful talk radio and news you can trust.